Hey guys, it's Cassera, and today I'm going to be doing my December week 1 reading vlog. My December TBR, I will link that up in the cards for you guys because it is pretty different than a lot of my other TBRs because I'm dedicating the entire month of December to rereads. So I'm not currently in the middle of any rereads, but I am currently in the middle of 3 books. So I will finish those 3 books, and then after I finish those 3 books, or probably during, let's be honest, while I'm still working on those 3 books, I'm going to start my rereads for December. So first, I'm going to talk about the 3 books that I'm currently in the middle of. So the audiobook that I'm currently in the middle of is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. This is a 52-hour audiobook. I started it in November and I have 6 hours left in it. I was really hoping that I could finish it yesterday so I could put it on my November reading wrap-up, but unfortunately I didn't finish it, so it will be going into December. So far I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's a really good book. I think it is a little dragged out though. Like, there was a lot of words for the amount of plot in this book, but it's really good. Like, it is definitely the ultimate revenge story, as like everyone talks about it, and I'm really enjoying it. The next book that I'm currently in the middle of is Words of Radiance by Sanderson. This is the 2nd book in the Stormlight Archives. I'm not very far into it right there. I made a little bit of progress last night actually, and I'm definitely enjoying this one, and I want to get further into it, definitely. So I had put it kind of on hold last week, but I will definitely be making progress on it this week. And this is a series that I really want to be one of my favorites, so I'm really hoping that I'll end up enjoying this one as much as I did the first one. A lot of people have said the second one is even better than the first one, so I'm really hoping that that's right and that it is better. So I'm excited for this. And the last book that I'm currently reading is Deadhouse by Erikson. This is the 2nd book in the Maas and Book of the Fallen series, which is also a huge high fantasy series with a lot of fans, and I'm really excited to get into it. I'm not that far into it. I made a little bit of progress on it last night, but not a whole lot of progress. So far, not enjoying this one as much as Words of Radiance. It's a different author, and it's not an author that I've read before other than the first book in the series, Gardens of the Moon, but I am enjoying it. And I'm excited to see where this one goes, because this is a very interesting world with very interesting magic that's not really well explained, and I kind of like it when they don't fully explain what's going on. So I feel like I'll vibe with this series really well, and I've heard the 2nd book is really good, so I'm definitely excited to make progress on this one this week as well. Now, while I do think I will finish The Count of Monte Cristo this week, I don't think I'm going to finish those 2 because I'm really excited to start my rereads. I haven't decided which book that I'm going to start with yet. I'll do that tonight when I get home, so I will check in with you tomorrow. So it's Monday, December 2nd, and today I finished The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I really enjoyed it. It's a really great revenge story. I do have to say that it is quite long. Like, I feel like there's a bunch of words in there that just don't need to be in there. So I ended up giving it 4.25 stars, but I still think, like, story-wise, it is really good. It's a bit too long for the amount of plot that's in that book, but there are definitely sections that are very exciting, and I really enjoyed it. So I had to pick a new audiobook. For some reason, some of my audiobooks didn't download on my phone yet, and I was driving when I had to do this, so I ended up picking A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Like, it wasn't the audiobook that I had planned to pick up first for my rereads for this month, but it's what happened, and oddly enough, I'm liking it, which is weird because I never liked the beginning of A Court of Thorns and Roses. I liked the end, but I'm still like in the very intro part, so there's still a long way until I get to like the part that I felt was really boring, which is like the middle of this book, but I'm enjoying it so far, so I'm just gonna be happy that I'm enjoying it and hopefully continue to. It is Thursday, December 5th. I've made a lot of progress on A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So this book is just as boring the second time around as it was the first time around. Like, even knowing that it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, I'm somehow still caught off guard that there's supposed to be a romantic connection between Tamlin and Farah, because I don't feel it at all. Like, at all. Like, there's a moment in there where, like, she wants him to be jealous over her. But before that moment, I was just like, what is supposed to be happening? Even though I've read this book already and I understand, like, the concept of it, the romance just isn't there. There is no connection there. So I don't understand how people see it. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. I'm at the interesting part now. I've been listening to this on audio, mostly because I don't have time to do anything else. I tried to open the physical book last night. Finally got home. I've had a really weird week at work for this week. December is just gonna be a weird month in general, but I've had a really weird week, so I finally got to get to some physical reading last night. Tried to open this one up, and literally, like, I read like 2 pages and I was browsing off, ready to go to sleep. So I switched back to the audiobook because I could not read the physical book. Like, it wasn't happening. But I have an hour and a half left in the audiobook now. And, like, it's at the good part. Like, it's at the interesting part. So I'm excited for it, sort of, maybe. Like, it's just nice to be comfortable in what I'm reading right now, if you know what I mean. Because I know what's gonna happen, and I'm interested in, like, seeing it all play to fruition. I don't have the audiobook for A Court of Mist and Fury, though. So I'm probably gonna switch to a different series after I finish A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh, maybe not. I might start A Court of Mist and Fury physically, just because I actually do like A Court of Mist and Fury, like, a lot. So we'll see how that goes. I haven't decided yet. I do want to start Mistborn today, though. So at some point today, I'm going to finish A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I will let you know what I decide to start. So I finished A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I love the ending. For some reason, this book, the ending is so good. The ending always makes me want to uprate this book because the first 2/3 of this book is so boring. Like, it is ridiculously boring, but the ending is actually really good, and I actually really love the ending and the way that it's done. So last time I gave this book a review, I gave it 2 stars. I think that's mostly because I read the ebook, so it was just such a task for me to read, because 1, it was an ebook, I don't like ebooks, and just physically reading this book, the first 2/3 seems so long. This time around, I listened to the audiobook. The first 2/3 didn't bother me as much, partially because it was audio, and I just listen to audiobooks easier than reading physical books. I don't know why, I just do. So the first 2/3 went by a lot quicker than previously, even though I still found it incredibly boring. And then I just really loved the ending. So I bumped it up to 2.5 stars. It's still a 2-star book for me overall, but this time around, it just felt more like a 2.5 stars. I felt like it set up the next book really well, especially in the ending. And I'm really excited to start A Court of Mist and Fury. I finished this, though, when I was out of the house. So I was listening to the audiobook in my car, so I had to pick up another audiobook that I already had. So my 2 options for that were Mistborn, which I didn't want to start on audio. I wanted to start that one physically and be able to switch between the audio and the physical book for that one. So instead, I decided to pick up The Wise Man's Fear. So The Wise Man's Fear is the 34-hour audiobook. This is the second book in the Kingkiller Chronicles. I really do love the Kingkiller Chronicles, but it has been a while since I've read it. I reread The Name of the Wind last year, and I remember really liking it. I listened to the audiobook for that one, so when I decided to reread The Wise Man's Fear, I figured I would listen to the audiobook for this one. I'm about 20% into the audiobook right now. So far, it is going well. I do like the main character, Kvothe, and I like all of his little antics that go on in the university, but we'll see how this goes, because I remember not liking the second one as much as I liked the first one. So I don't know, and it is pretty big, so we'll see how this goes, but I do have a lot of time for audiobooks today. Hopefully I can find some time to do some physical reading, because the next one on my list is Mistborn, and I want to pick this one up. Like, I really want to pick this one up. And I do want to read this one physically, not necessarily on audio. So yes. So it's Friday, December 5th, and I've made a lot of progress on, I'm not reading The Name of the Wind. I picked up the wrong book. I'll be right back. The Wise Man's Fear. I've made a lot of progress on The Wise Man's Fear. This is what I get for listening to so much audiobooks. But anyways, for some reason, I expected this book to be boring. Like, I don't know. It's like every second of this book is interesting. Like, it keeps my attention and I want to know what's going to happen next. But it seems very meandering. Like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, I don't really see where this book is heading, or even this series in general. Like, I don't know where it's heading, which is weird. You know, like, when you read a book, you expect a certain thing out of it. Like Harry Potter, we expected Harry to at some point confront Voldemort. Like, that's what we expected out of the Harry Potter series. I don't know what this series is, what we're supposed to be expecting in the long term out of this series. It seems to be just like tons of random anecdotes from this guy's life, and it doesn't seem to have an end point. So I don't know. this is interesting. I am enjoying it, so that's always good. You know how yesterday I said when I pick up my physical book, it was gonna be Mistborn? Yeah, well, I decided to pick up A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Like, it's hard for me to stop in the middle of a series, especially when it's like a reread series. I like to finish a series once I start it when I'm doing rereads. So yeah, I don't have the audiobook for this one yet, so I'm still using The Wise Man's Fear as my audiobook right now, and I'm not like, this is just completely physical. Let's see how much I've read so far. I think I made a lot of progress yesterday. Yeah, I read like 200 pages yesterday. That's a lot in one day. And A Court of Mist and Fury feels like a completely different book than A Court of Thorns and Roses. I mean, yes, it's a completely different book, but it feels like a completely different series. Like, it feels like a completely different author wrote A Court of Mist and Fury. Like, it just has a completely different vibe than A Court of Thorns and Roses was. Because The Court of Thorns and Roses, like, I tried to read it physically, and I was literally falling asleep. I wasn't tired, mind you, but I was literally falling asleep because of how bored I felt while I was reading Court of Thorns and Roses. A Court of Mist and Fury, like, it was keeping me up at night because I wanted to see what was gonna happen next in the book. So, like, I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's because I actually feel like that connection between Farah and Rysand. There's some really interesting, like, emotional things that Farah is going through. And I feel like there's like an actual plot to A Court of Mist and Fury, which is great. I love when there's a full plot to the book. So yeah, it's been really good. I'm really, really enjoying A Court of Mist and Fury. And I'm excited to continue on with this because I have been listening to the audiobook for Wise Man's Fear all day, which, I mean, is fine. Like, it's good. I have been itching to pick up A Court of Mist and Fury all day long. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll check in with you guys later. It is Saturday, December 7th. I made a lot of progress on A Court of Mist and Fury yesterday. So I am right there, page 540. This book keeps me up at night. Like, I did not want to put this book down, but I was just like, I need to sleep. It was like 3 a.m. when I finally stopped reading this book last night, but like, it's so good. I wasn't expecting to be as deeply engrossed in this book as I am this time around, because last time around I gave this book 4.5 stars. Like, it still wasn't one of my favorites, even though I liked it so much better than A Court of Thorns and Roses. This time around though, it might get a 5 stars out of me because I'm really enjoying it. And like, I don't know, it's good. Like, it feels like I'm reading one of my favorite books of all time, even though like I don't consider this series one of my favorite series of all time, probably because the first book in the series is just so bad, but this one is really, really good. So yeah, I'm enjoying this a lot more than I was expecting to. I did finally get the audiobook of Hold for my library for Court of Mist and Fury, 500 pages into the book. So I think I'm just gonna finish it physically because I feel like with only like 100 pages left, it feels like opting out if I just listen to the audiobook for the last 100 pages. So I am gonna wait till tonight so I can finish this one physically. I do like to read a lot in the bath though, and I don't like carrying massive hardcovers just because they're a lot easier to accidentally drop in the bathtub. So I did finally start Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Actually, it's The Final Empire. I kind of hate that this book is called The Final Empire. Does anyone else hate that? But I feel like I have to say it because I know that some people in the comments are gonna be like, correction, this is actually called The Final Empire, not Mistborn. Well, guess what? My book says Mistborn on it. It doesn't say The Final Empire anywhere on this cover, so suck it. Anyways, moving on. I'm really not that far into it. I read the first 12 pages. I don't know. I was being weird yesterday, but I did enjoy it. I forgot how much of a main character Kelsier is in the Mistborn trilogy. It's been a really long time since I've dived deep into the series, and so I don't remember Kelsier as well as I want to, and he's kind of like the main character at the beginning of this book. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I'll like it, because I remember really loving Kelsier the first time around. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna really like this one again. Like, really hoping. But it has some really great world building in the very beginning. Like, I love the way the world building is done in this. So really excited to continue on with this one. I have also made a lot of progress on The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I think I'm almost done with it. Like, just knowing where I am in the plot wise, I think I'm very close to being done with it. I feel kind of the same way as I did before, where like, it's very meandering. Like, there's not a single point in this book when I'm bored. Like, it keeps my attention the whole time, but it's kind of like, what's the point of this anecdote to the entire series? I feel similarly in this book as I did in The Count of Monte Cristo, where it just seems like this book is just longer than it needs to be. And while I'm enjoying it, I feel like I'm kind of wasting my time rereading it, if you know what I mean. Like, I could have just read the next book in this series instead of rereading the second book in the series. Like, I didn't feel like I needed to reread it. I don't know. We'll see how this goes, though. I will finish this book soon, and hopefully I'll feel a little bit better about it with the ending. Endings can make and break a book for me, so I don't remember the ending of The Wise Man's Fear. Like, I really don't remember it, so I'm hoping that it's good. So I finished A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, and it surprised me because I didn't like the ending. I completely expected to like the ending, partially because I was really enjoying the book, and partially because I remember liking the ending the first time around. Like, I remember really liking it, and I did remember a lot from the ending the first time around, and pretty much everything that I remembered, I did like about the ending. But there was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't remember that I actually didn't like. Maybe I just blocked it out the first time around because I had liked the rest of the book so much. First of all, there is a lot of action at the end of this book, and I found myself kind of rolling my eyes a little bit as the action was happening, which is not the response you want when you're reading an action scene. I don't know, it just felt a little overdone at times. There were sections of it where I just felt like there were like simpler ways to go about things, and they just found the most convoluted way to do it, which I understand why it's done that way. It's done that way to give us an emotional response. But at the same time, I was just like, there are way simpler ways to do this. Like, why? Why is this necessary? But then there are other parts of this ending and I was like, this is so good. So like, I'm kind of torn on this ending. Like, it's good, but it's also like unnecessary at times. But also, it does my pet peeve where there's a twist, and the way the twist is done, I hated it. I just don't like the way the twist is done. It's a single pet peeve of mine, and I can't even explain what it is because then that'll give away the twist, and I don't want to give you guys spoilers. Every time a book does this, I just get annoyed with it. So I was on course to give this book 5 stars. Like, I was on course for it. But I think I'm gonna echo what I rated it the first time around and give it 4.5 stars. So it is Saturday night, and I have a feeling I'm not gonna be finishing any other books this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off on this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books. I would love to discuss it with you guys. I post videos frequently in this channel, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.